Good morning, everybody. It's Pastor Daryl from The Quest in Galesburg. Glad to have you with us again today. I had one of them mornings trying to get my devotions done, and we'll go into it. It kind of fits what I'm going to talk about today. Let's be honest. Sometimes life is just hard. I was talking with somebody a few days ago, and they were just telling me that it's been hard for the last year. And, with this whole COVID thing, I think a lot of us can relate to that. Life is hard. And, if you're like me, sometimes you've literally said the words, "Hey, stop the world. I just want to get off." Certainly, especially with this COVID thing going on. But now here we are, Thanksgiving's this week, and we're going into the holiday season. And I'm sure your life is like mine. It gets rushed and hurried. And pardon me, let me stabilize this a little bit. With all the rush and hurry and all the things going on, it just gets so difficult sometimes. And we feel like, a time that's supposed to be the most joyful time of the year becomes one of the most stressful times of the year. And I just want to remind us all that sometimes we need to just stop, step back, take a deep breath, and evaluate the situation. Try to stay afloat. I got to thinking about this early this morning. Got so many things going on, decisions to make. Do you get with family? Do you not get with family? And I was thinking about trying to stay afloat, and my mind flashed back to something happened a long time ago. Matter of fact, I remember clearly. It was August 2004. It's one of them events you'll never forget. My family had gone to Galveston Island on vacation, and we'd taken my niece and her kids with us. And while we were there, it was kind of a unique situation. The reason I remember it so well is Hurricane Charlie was coming across the Gulf from Florida. The waves were getting a little bit more violent than normal, but yet we were enjoying it. And literally, our family was the only family out there on the beach. And we were out playing one day, and my wife was floating in an inner tube. And I was on the beach with my niece and her kids and my two kids, and we were playing around. And I turned around and I looked, and I saw that my wife had floated way, way out there. And now you got to understand, my wife can swim just a little bit, but she can't swim very much. And I knew that she had gone way too far, and I was going to have to go get her. So I swam out, got her, brought her back into shore. And that event is something that I can relate to what I want to talk about today. If you've never been to the ocean, let me share this with you. It can be so deceptive. I think the ocean is one of the most majestic things ever. And you sit there and you watch the waves coming in. But what you don't stop and think about is for every wave coming in, there's water that has to go back out. And so it creates an undercurrent or a riptide that is taking that water back out. And you may not know it because you don't see that. But underneath the surface, there was a strong riptide or undertow going on, and that was what was carrying my wife out, and that has happened to so many people. Now, life is like that. My point is this: we see the stuff coming at us. We see all the things that are happening around us. We see the COVID. We see the holidays. But what we don't understand is for everything that is coming in, there's something got to go out. And when it's not moving right, or maybe it catches us off guard, something has to go. Think about this. This time of year especially, we get so much more involved. I'll be honest, as pastor, it's been one of the most frustrating things. The time of year that ought to be drawing people closer to God, our attendance always, when I pastored here in Galesburg, every year but one, and that one year was an exception. Every year, 15 years, every year, attendance dropped, giving dropped, and that said a lot to me. It said that people were so involved in all these other things around, ironically, Christmas, it took them away from the Lord and away from the Lord's house and away from supporting the ministry that we were doing. Life can get like that for all of us, that we get so busy with other things that we don't realize that little bit by little bit, the undertow, the riptide is beginning to pull us farther and farther away from God. Very seldom does somebody just get up one day and say, you know what, I've had it with God, I'm done serving God, I'm moving away, and I'm not coming back to church again. Does happen occasionally, but most of the time that's not what happens. No, usually it's just like my wife on that inner tube. Little by little, inch by inch, wave by wave, was drifting farther and farther away from the safety of shore. Well, in the same way, little bit by little bit, family events, work activities, Christmas plays, all these other things that we're involved in begins to pull us away from God. Parties at work, working overtime to have extra money, and little bit by little bit, we don't realize we're drifting farther and farther away from the safety of shore. Jesus said something in John, the 15th chapter. He said it this way: the world would love you as one of its own if you belong to it. But you are no longer part of this world. I chose you to come out of this world. And notice this, he says, and therefore they hate you. The pull of this world is strong. It takes a conscious effort every day to make sure that we're still spending time with God, that we're spending time talking with Him. We're spending time reading His Word. We're spending time worshiping Him. Just being still in His presence to find our rest in Him. Let me encourage you today and throughout these days and weeks coming up into the holidays, forever as far as that goes, but especially during this time, take a few moments each day and make sure you give that time to God, your devotion to God, your worship of Him. And I promise you this, as you do that, you will find rest and you will find peace for your soul and peace for your mind. Rest in your Savior. Rest in the God who loves you so much that He sent His only Son. And that's what this season is all about. Let Him heal you. Let Him restore you. Take time daily to sit at His feet, learn from Him, and be made strong from Him. The undertow, the riptide of this life, it's easy to get pulled into. It happens before we even know it. Make sure you take time to be with God. God bless you. Hope you have a blessed day. Come back and see me again tomorrow at The Quest.